Welcome back to the Books to Lights game channel. We're playing War of the Ring. Let's start round 4 by recovering our action dice. We have one down here in the hunt for the ring box, so the shadow player is going to have to leave at least one die here. But that gives them 7 to play with. And we draw our event cards. We get Wizard's Staff and Faramir's Rangers. One little thing to note, you're watching me draw from 2 decks here, the character deck and the strategy deck. And you might be wondering what the difference is, but cards in the strategy deck offer kind of military and political options, whereas cards in the character deck, they're more related to the fellowship and things that your companions and minions can do. So if you've got the option from drawing from either one of these decks, then think about the strategy you're adopting and which deck will be more appropriate for the way you're playing. Shadow player draws Breaking of the Fellowship and the Fighting Uruk-hai. Fellowship phase now. This is tricky now for the Fellowship because one thing they may be thinking about doing is passing through Moria. If the Fellowship is revealed by the Shadows player during a hunt and it passes through an enemy controlled stronghold, then you have to draw an additional hunt tile, so that makes it particularly dangerous. However, if you declare the position of the Fellowship, then you can pass through Moria without having that penalty, because when you declare your position, you stay hidden. But our movement track's 0 at the moment, so we're going to just have to take a risk. And if we do get revealed, maybe we can think about taking an alternative route. What I want to do though is try and make my way to Lorien if I can, because I need to try and heal up some of this corruption. Heading off to the Elven stronghold takes me to a place where I can heal. So we'll stay as we are, we'll keep Strider as the guide, perhaps think about losing Strider and heading out on our own once we get past Lorien. For now, the Shadow player has the job of adding extra eye dice if they wish. Well, I'm quite keen to see the Shadow player developing their military offensive. We'll put 1 in the hunt box and we'll keep 6 for spending his actions. Now let's roll. And I'm hoping the Free Peoples. I'm hoping for some actions where I can actually move the Fellowship on. And I was looking for character rolls and I didn't get any. We have 2 muster, 1 event and 1 Will of the West. Actually, that's not so bad. Shadow player now. And we got a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, this is going to make it nasty. We got 2 eyes, which puts the tally to 4. We have 3 muster and 1 character. Let's see what we can do with that. Start with the Free Peoples. A Will of the West die, and this is what I'm going to use. As well as using it for its own sake, also can be changed to any other face that we wish. So I'm going to change it to a character die. We're in a very tight spot, but we can't just leave that Fellowship where it is. So let's move the Fellowship while it's hidden despite the reach of the Shadow player's eyes. So now we perform the hunt roll and there's 4 eyes here. So Shadow player gets to roll 4d6. And we're looking for 6s. And we have a success. And of course this means we have to draw from the hunt pool one tile. And we get number 1, and the fellowship is revealed. Remember, I've got 2 options here. I can use the ring and take the 1 damage as corruption, or I can sacrifice my guide or 1 member of the fellowship at random. I don't want to sacrifice Strider for 1 corruption, so I'm just going to take 1 corruption by using the ring, and it's creeping up. We're at 4 now, and in addition the fellowship is revealed. And now we discard this hunt tile. These eyes, we might see these again if the fellowship makes it to the Mordor track. Any of these beige ones with eyes on, they're going to go back in the hunt pool, but anything like this, they're going to stay out of the game. Actually, what we could do is we could take this and place it over here as a reminder. Anything here, remember, goes back in the hunt pool once we hit the Mordor track. So why don't we do that? Let's place any eyes that we pull from the hunt pool over there in Mordor. And now that the fellowship is revealed, we need to move the fellowship. And remember, we're going to move it 1 spot, or up to 1 spot. When the fellowship is revealed by the Shadows player moving through or into or even from a Shadow stronghold, then we need to pull 1 more hunt tile. We've got to reach Lorien, I think, or we could head down to Helm's Deep. I think we'll stick to our plan despite the risks and move into Moria. So let's grab another hunt tile from the bag. We get a 0 and reveal. Oh, that's cool. We'll just discard this. That's 0 damage and we're already revealed, so a bit of good fortune. Finally then, for the free peoples, this character die that we spent goes in the hunt for the ring box. Shadow player now. And I'm going to do something pretty special with one of these muster dice. I'm going to bring one of my minions into play, the Witch King, the Black Captain. It says we can activate this minion if Sauron and at least 1 Free People's Nation are at war. We can use 1 muster action die to place the Witch King in any region with a Shadow army that includes at least 1 Sauron unit. But we do, as a consequence of bringing the Witch King into play, have to activate all Free People's Nations. Let's take a look over here at the political track. Sauron's at war. We have at least 1 Free People's Nation at war, that's Gondor. But we do have to now activate, which means flipping over all these Free People's Nations. These are all now free to move into the at war box. Well, let's go and grab the Witch King from the supply. Here we go. Like a Nazgul, the Witch King can move anywhere on the map. It has a leadership of 2 and it gives us 1 extra action dice. So let's grab that from the supply as well. And we'll place this here ready for us to use at the next round. Being the evil Shadows player that I am and realising we've got the Fellowship a little bit on the ropes, we're going to place the Witch King here in Moria. Free Peoples now, and without question I'm going to use Strider's ability. We don't have a character die, but remember, we can hide the Fellowship using Strider's guide ability by using any dice, and we'll use this this event dice, I think, because we haven't got any good events to play, and let's hide the Fellowship. Shadow player now, and I've got 2 muster and 1 character dice, and I'm going to show you how to recruit units now using a muster dice. You've got 4 options when you're mustering. You can either recruit 1 elite unit in any friendly or free settlement, or 2 leaders in any 2 different friendly and free settlements, 2 regulars in any 2 friendly and free settlements, or 1 leader and 1 regular. So those are your 4 options. Okay? As it goes, I'm going to recruit 1 elite Sauron unit for here up in Dol Guldur. Remember, a settlement means a town, a city, or a stronghold. And friendly and free means it's not occupied by another army, it doesn't contain any army units, or isn't one of your strongholds under siege. In other words, it must be friendly, not a settlement controlled by an enemy, and free. In other words, does not contain any enemy units. And remember, if I wanted to recruit 2 units, 2 regulars, 2 leaders, or a regular and a leader, they must go in separate settlements. Free peoples now, and I'm still keen to move this fellowship, particularly as I'm so close to Lorien, and while my corruption is still relatively low, I don't want to leave it too late. The problem is I've only got 2 muster dice, and that's not going to help me move my fellowship, but I do have 1 saving action. I can use one of my 3 elven rings. Remember, we set these up at the beginning of the game. We've not seen them since. What you can do is take an elven ring, turn it over, and give it to the shadow player, and that means putting it down here in the shadow player's elven rings box. They've got 3 spots here, and with that ring I can change one of my dice to anything I want, with the exception of a Will of the West. So I'm going to change it to a character, and I'm going to use this to move the fellowship once more. And now the shadow player has this token, and that means on a future turn they can use this token to change one of their die results. But once they spend it, it gets discarded, and that's it for the rest of the game. One thing to note is you cannot use more than 1 elven ring in 1 turn. Let's move the fellowship then up to number 1. And the shadow player gets to roll 4 hunt dice once more. Remember, we're looking for 6s, but we have this die already in the hunt for the ring box, one of the free players' ones, a blue die. And that's because we've now moved more than once. We've moved twice in the same turn. So what does this extra die here mean? What it means is the shadow player gets a +1 modifier to their dice roll. So that means now they won't only be successful on just a 6. If they roll a 5 or a 6, the hunt will be successful. Alright? If we tried to move the fellowship again, that would add 2 to the hunt roll. And that would mean the hunt will be successful not just on a 6 or a 5, but on a 4 as well. Okay? So the more times you move in a turn, the more dangerous it becomes. So we're going to roll 4 hunt dice for the hunt roll, and we're looking for a 6 or a 5. And we have 2 successes. Now we have 2 successes and 2 failures. Alright, we've succeeded, so we know we're going to draw a hunt tile. But the thing is, we may draw a hunt tile that has an eye on it. And remember, an eye on a hunt tile will do damage equal to the number of successes. So there's still good reason to maximising the number of successes we get during the hunt roll. And the shadow player's got one more trick up his sleeve, and that is hunt rerolls. If during the hunt the ring bearers are in a region that contains one or more of the following: a stronghold controlled by the shadow player, like Moria, 1 or more shadow army units, these 2 Sauron regulars, or 1 or more Nazgul, and for the purposes of defining Nazgul, the Witch King counts as a Nazgul. So anytime you hear the phrase Nazgul from now on, we also mean the Witch King. Then the shadow player can, for each of those, after the hunt roll, re-roll 1 failed hunt roll die. And they do that for each of the conditions that apply. So for Moria right now, that would mean 3. We could re-roll 3 failed hunt roll dice. 1 for the fact that we're in Moria, 1 for the fact we've got Sauron army here, and 1 for the fact that we've got a Nazgul, the Witch King, here. So that's 3 rerolls. So I'm going to take these 2 failed ones and I'm going to re-roll them just in case we pull an eye from the hunt pool and we can maximise the amount of damage that we do. We got 2 fails. The re-rolls still get the +1 bonus. Alright, so a 5 or a 6 would have been a success, but as it goes, it's there's 2 more failures. So we got 2 successes. So let's draw a hunt tile. Pretty dangerous for the fellowship. This has been dreadful. Never mind. You know, we've got that safety of getting to Lorien, hopefully. Let's see what we get. Oh, it's pretty horrible again. It's 2 damage and the fellowship is revealed. Well, that 2 damage is pretty mean. So I think, well, for the sake of showing you all the rules anyway, let's take a chance and let's sacrifice a companion. So we grab our tokens. We're going to give them a shuffle. And we get Boromir. So we take Boromir's card. We take Boromir's figure. Boromir has laid down his life to save the Fellowship from that 2 corruption. Boromir's level 2, so that means he's going to soak up 2 damage from the hunt. So that's 2 corruption, and that's enough then to save the Fellowship. But it does mean now Boromir is removed from the game. And now, after Boromir's gallantly laid down his life, we must reveal the Fellowship and move 1 spot. And this time, the Fellowship will happily move out of Moria and into Dimwall Dale. And now let's discard this one. Now the Fellowship's moved to Dimwall Dale. They're a little bit closer to Lorien, but they're not quite out of the woods yet. Remember, I told you that Moria is especially dangerous because it's a shadow stronghold. For leaving Moria, a revealed Fellowship needs to draw 1 more hunt tile. So the Fellowship's having a rough old time. We've got to pull 1 more hunt tile. Let's see what we get. It is a 0. Wow, we needed some good fortune. Right, so they take no damage and the Fellowship is revealed, but we're already revealed, so nothing additional is going to happen. Let's discard this one. That was a pretty nasty round for the Free Peoples. And remember, the character die moves into the hunt for the ring box, making moving the Fellowship that little bit more difficult.